Hey sports fans, here's a short dumb little video on how to use a 3-inch drain tile to make some cheap but durable downspout extensions. I've tried everything on this building, the regular aluminum ones. The wind blows them away and they just can't handle it and they just get bent. And it's too easy for people to step on them and they get smashed. So I had this 4-inch perforated drain tile. I tried using that. That ain't the right stuff. Too much water leaks out through the perforations near the building. That's no good. And it doesn't fit tight on the end of the downspout. So I picked up some 3-inch non-perforated solid drain tile. Alright, so I got to make my downspout extensions 7 foot long, so I only need 28 feet, but this stuff comes in rolls of 100, so there I got like 72 feet, right, that I don't need. But it was only 40 bucks for the whole roll, so I decided to go that route because I looked at other downspout extensions and you should be paying just about the same amount. Maybe someday I can figure out what to use this for some other project. Like I said, I was using 4-inch drain tile, but that isn't ideal because it doesn't fit snugly on the downspout, so the wind just kind of works on it and blows it off, okay? So that's no good. So I thought I'd go with 3-inch, but there's one problem. So here's the problem with the 3-inch drain tile. The tile is round, the downspout is rectangular, and it doesn't fit in the hole, so you know, what the heck am I going to do? I suppose they sell some adapters and stuff, but I'm not going to buy them. I didn't like the fact that I had to spend money to buy 100 feet of drain tile in the first place, so we wanted to keep cost at a minimum. So this is what I did. I started out with a piece of scrap 4x4, and I cut it to this length here, the length of this one right here, okay? And then I ripped it so it was approximately the same dimensions as the outside of the downspout. I just took the downspout and I just put it on the end of my 4x4, and I just kind of traced a line with a Sharpie, okay? And then I ripped it to these dimensions here, okay? The next thing I did is I cut a taper on this so it's smaller at one end than the other, okay? Now maybe you guys have a better idea of how to cut a taper than I did, but this is how I did it. I screwed a piece of scrap to one end of the board and then put it along my rip fence. That way the board sits in there at an angle, and then when I ran it through along the blade, you know, cut a taper, and as you can see that board is smaller on this end here than that end there, okay? I did the same thing with the thickness of the board. I screwed a piece of scrap stock to it, and once again this end is smaller than that, so I have it tapering in both thickness and width, okay? After I got my board all cut, I put it in the vise with the end of the smaller dimensions facing up, and then I took a piece of this plastic drain tile and I slipped it over the ends like so, okay? Then I took my heat gun and I would heat up just around the bottom edge of that drain tile, and then I would push down on it and push it down the board, and you just progressively just keep heating it up, being careful not to melt it, working my way around it and pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down until I bottomed out here on the vise. When I was done, this is what I had. So I pull it off, okay, and now what we got is a more or less rectangular hole instead of a round one, and it maintains that shape pretty well. Once it cools down, it doesn't go back to its original round shape. So once you got it looking like that, all you have to do is just take your piece of drain tile and slip her over the end your downspout elbow, and it'll fit on there pretty nice. You don't even need any screws or anything. The ribs on it will kind of go over some of the ribs here and hold her on really well. Now to hold the other end securely, I made these stakes. It's just a piece of rod with a tapered end on it with a bolt welded to it. But you can just put that right over the end of your downspout. You just step on that bolt there. And that'll hold it pretty securely in, so you don't have to worry about the wind blowing it away. And if you ever want to take it off or move it, like when you're mowing the lawn, you can just grab that bolt and pull her out. It works pretty decent. Not a whole lot of money involved here, but it does the job quite well. So if you like this video, you know, I'd appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe. You know, do everything it takes to make this the #1 channel on YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you here on the Fix Yourself channel. Okay, once we got our tapered block made, I put it in the vise here. I got a heat gun here, and if you don't have one, I suggest you buy one. They're pretty cheap, and boy, you can use them for all kinds of things. One thing I've noticed on these less expensive heat guns, instead of just turning them off when you're done, turn the heat setting to the lowest setting before you shut it off, and just let it run at the lowest setting, okay? And for about a minute, and you can just set it. It'll set right down on the counter pretty well, upside down, just like that. It'll set upside down. It'll set upside down on the counter, just like that. It'll set right on the counter pretty nice. Just let it run for about a minute, and you can shut it off. That way it'll fire it up right away again. If you shut it off hot, and you want to use it again, it's not going to turn on again until it cools down. Okay, so what we got to do is we're going to want to turn our heat up. And then we just take our piece of drain tile and put it over that tapered block we made and just heat up the end evenly. This will take a while. I mean, it seems like a long time, but it's probably only about 5 minutes. But you want to get it heated evenly. You can push down while you're heating. You gotta be a little careful because it can melt on you if you're not paying attention. What the trick is they're uniformly heated. As you can see, I've been wearing leather gloves just so I don't burn myself. It doesn't get all that hot, but probably get hot enough to burn you if you weren't being careful. And turn that to the lowest setting now and let her run. And then I'll try and pull this down some more. Push it and pull it. Push and pull. And you want to get pulled so you get it to the part of your board that is the same dimensions as the downspout itself, so you can get it slipped over the downspout. Try heating her a little bit more. This is where you want to take your time a little bit. Don't rush it too much because you want it to fit over your downspout nice and evenly and tightly. You don't want to have to do it again. You want to make sure you got it so it will fit over. All right. Now we'll sit and let that cool down for a little bit. Yeah. And once this is cooled down, it will retain that rectangular shape. Then you can pull it off. Okay, now you can see here, I can get that in the camera, that has a more or less rectangular opening. And the downspout will fit in it quite nicely. Let me get that in the camera. Do you see that? It fits on there pretty snugly. Good enough so the wind isn't going to blow it off and the rainwater won't back up through there. So it works pretty good. So you don't have to buy yourself a separate adapter. And these ridges, combined with the ridges that are on the downspout elbow, do a pretty good job on locking it on.